All eyes are on the Supreme Court now as the hearing on the writ petitions filed against the dissolution of the House of Representatives has resumed. During yesterday's session, legal practitioners on behalf of the petitioners have reiterated their demand to reinstate the lower house and appoint Nepali Congress President Sherbahadur Deuba to the post of Prime Minister. Now, as the bench has decided to continue the hearing each day, the verdict could be expected soon. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama and these are the top stories of the hour. The hearing on the writs filed against the dissolution of the House of Representatives resumes at the Supreme Court's constitutional bench. "81 COVID-19 deaths reported in the country yesterday. The government prepares to resume domestic flights from 1st of July. European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control says highly contagious Delta variant of the new coronavirus expected to account for 90% of new COVID-19 cases in the European Union by August. And France, Portugal, Germany and Spain reached the round of 16 of Euro Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo ties the world record for scoring most international goals. The hearing on the writs filed against the dissolution of the House of Representatives resumed at the constitutional bench of the Supreme Court yesterday. In yesterday's session, legal practitioners on behalf of the petitioners criticized the role of the President for rejecting Nepali Congress President Sherbahadur Deuba's claim for premiership despite having a clear majority.
During the hearing at the constitutional bench of the Supreme Court on Wednesday, legal practitioners on behalf of the petitioners criticized the role of the President and said that the President could not fulfill the duty as per the Constitution. Senior advocates including Badri Bahadur Karki, Mahadev Prasad Yadav and Shambhu Thapa during Wednesday's hearing argued that the Prime Minister should have stepped down from the post on moral grounds and even the President should have urged the Premier to do so. Stating that the Prime Minister, who had failed to secure the vote of confidence from the House of Representatives, obstructed to form a new government, senior advocates pointed out that the Constitution has not entrusted the President to reject the claim of a candidate having majority support of lawmakers. Likewise, advocates Govinda Bandi and Khambo Bahadur Khati argued that the President has the intention to see KP Sharma Oli as the Prime Minister, for which the claim with the support of 149 signatories, including 5 former Prime Ministers, was rejected. During the hearing, Chief Justice Cholendra Samsher Rana asked if there was any provision to move ahead to form a new government based on Article 76(5) of the Constitution without securing the confidence vote. In their response, lawyers representing the writ petitioners clarified that Prime Minister Oli said that he had paved way for further process after failing to secure the confidence vote, admitting that he did not have clear majority. They argued that the President intentionally rejected the claim of Nepali Congress President Sherbahadur Deuba despite having clear majority. The hearing on the cases will continue on Thursday as well.
81 COVID-19 deaths were reported in the country in the past 24 hours, taking the COVID-19 death tally to 8,894. Out of the total reported death cases, 52 individuals succumbed to the virus in the past 24 hours, while 29 individuals succumbed to the virus on various other dates. The death rate now stands at 1.5%. Meanwhile, the total number of COVID-19 cases in the country has crossed 627,000 as 1,511 more individuals tested positive yesterday. Kathmandu Valley alone reported 497 new cases. According to the Health Ministry, 7,461 tests through PCR method were carried out yesterday, while the infection rate in the country now stands at 20.3%. Meanwhile, 3,558 individuals registered full recovery yesterday, taking the recovery tally to over 568,440, and the recovery rate stands now at 90.5%. Based on the Health Ministry's report, currently there are 50,520 active cases, out of which 47,286 are in home isolation, 734 in intensive care units and 213 on ventilator support. Now, domestic flights are to resume from 1st of July. The government has prepared to resume domestic flights, saying that the number of coronavirus cases had gone down in recent time and to ease the lives of the public. The Council of Ministers had directed the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal to resume flight operation by adopting maximum precautions against the spread of COVID-19. The authority has approved airlines to resume 50% of its usual flights. Likewise, the government has also decided to increase the number of international flights. Based on the decision made by the Council of Ministers, 2 flights of Nepal Airlines Corporation and another 2 flights of Qatar Airways will be able to fly in Kathmandu-Doha sector per week. 4 flights a week will also be able to take off for Malaysia and United Arab Emirates. 2 flights a week for Kuwait and 1 each for Oman's Muscat, South Korea, Japan and China's Chengdu and Guangzhou route will also be allowed. Domestic flights were grounded from 3rd of May and international flights from 6th of May, considering the risk of increasing transmission of coronavirus. Meanwhile, international chartered flights were opened from the first week of June in countries with high number of Nepali migrant workers. The Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority has filed one more corruption case against former Director General of Inland Revenue Department Chudamani Sharma yesterday. 2 cases are still pending against him at the court. CIA filed a case against 3 individuals, including Sharma, at the special court yesterday for allegedly embezzling 1.33 billion rupees. The anti-corruption watchdog accused the then chairman of Tax Settlement Commission formed back in 2014, Lumbadoj Mahat, member Umesh Thakal and member secretary Chudamani Sharma for causing damage to the state by their alleged nexus with revenue evading businessmen during their tenure. Earlier, the CIA had already filed 2 cases against Sharma on 2 counts, including the decision he made during his tenure at the Tax Settlement Commission and acquiring immeasurable wealth through corruption. Both the cases are still under consideration at the court. Sharma was member secretary at the Tax Settlement Commission constituted under the chairmanship of Lumbadoj Mahat back in 2014 when Ram Sharan Mahat was the finance minister. The commission had settled an agreement with these businessmen to pay the remaining 9 billion rupees, out of which only 5 billion rupees have been deposited so far. CIA's investigation has shown that tax exemption has been given arbitrarily on the basis of mutual understandings with businessmen. Local levels across the country are presenting policies for the upcoming fiscal year. In this context, in our Public Voice segment, we've asked the ward chairmen in several wards of Pachthar what their priorities are for next year's policies. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
DPR भएर गएका माथिबाट स्वीकृत भएका सडकहरू र चाहिँ तपाईको अब प्रशासनिक भवनहरू वडाका अनि गाउँपालिकाका र कृषि क्षेत्रमा चाहिँ तपाईको हामीले अब सधैँ जस्तै जे कार्यक्रमहरुमा सपोर्ट गर्दै कृषकहरुलाई आएका थियौं नयाँ कार्यक्रमहरु पैसा कमीले गर्दा सोच्न सकेका छैन
सिंचाइहरु जस्ता कुराहरुमा चाहिँ अलि ध्यान दियो भने चाहिँ सरकार अगाडि बढ्न सफल हुन्छ
स्वास्थ्यलाई पहिला प्राथमिकता दिन्छ अनि शिक्षा बालबालिका महिला उनीहरुलाई हामी प्राथमिकता राख्छौं
फर्स्टमा स्वास्थ्य राखेका छौं त्यसपछि शिक्षा अनि भौतिक पूर्वाधारलाई हामीले चाहिँ अगाडि बढाएका छौं
रोजगारहरुले वैदेशिक रोजगारमा जानु नपाएकोले गर्दाखेरि अलिकति त्यसमा आशा राखेका छौं
दलित अपाङ्ग मैत्री कार्यक्रमहरु पनि ल्याउनु पर्छ
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, why has the situation arisen when youths in the country are unemployed while industries are not able to run without Indian workers? Your options are A, lack of skilled manpower, B, problem in labor culture, and C, imbalance in production and demand. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.